Krista Gibson. Welcome to Keeping It Real, a video feature of newspiritjournal.com, where we show you ways to make your spirituality really practical. Now, what can be more practical than herbs? This is week 7 with EagleSong Gardener. She's giving us this 8-week mini course in herbs for health. And if you've been watching all along, you know that she makes this very practical, very usable, very down to earth. And she brings well over 40 years experience living and working and studying herbs and having them as her friends and family. So we're really fortunate that she's here with us to share this information and show us how to use herbs practically in our daily lives. So this week, we're going to be talking about Johnswort. Oh, St. Johnswort. Sorry, forgot he was a saint. Anyway, let's head over to Eagle Songs and let's see what we can learn about St. Johnswort. Hello, everybody. I made it over to Eagle Songs. How are you today, Eagle Song?
Hey, I'm great. I had time to spread compost this morning and do all kinds of things. It's a wonderful cloudy day today.
It is, yeah, and we needed an overcast day. Too much sunshine for us Pacific Northwesterners, and we need our drizzle.
A reprieve, yeah.
So we're talking about St. Johnswort today. So tell us all about that herb and what we can do with it.
All right. Well, St. Johnswort, St. Johnswort, Hypericum, a lot of names. All the herbs actually have a lot of names. It depends on what storyline you're in. And Hypericum perforatum, St. Johnswort, is a plant that really is one I think every home apothecary should have it on hand all the time. And actually, when we look back at the herbs we've already visited, the dandelion, nettle, oat straw, comfrey, linden, and marshmallow, we were talking about herbs that we made into nourishing herbal infusions, herbs that really build the baseline of health. With the Hypericum, a different direction. This is
we're having that.
Best
we're having
preparations
that,
are not water extracted.
Okay.
But oil extracted, and we're going to talk about that. First, I'm going to introduce the plant.
Okay.
So here is it's going to be very hard to see. She's not in bloom right now, but she's up about a foot high.
Wow.
And
okay.
so learning to identify plants at all stages of growth is, to me, part of the fun
right.
of getting to know the herbs that I'm using on a regular basis. So a great book to get is Botany in a Day. This is a book that can really help with the idea. If you're going to go out and...
Oh, now you're freezing up on us, so hold on a second. I just want to tell people...
the best way is that a person that knows the plant teaches you the plant. It is an oral tradition. It has been through people through time as an oral tradition. And so we live in a written word culture. Books to identify plants is also a way that you can do it.
Okay, now I wanted to mention you have frozen up a couple of times, so I just want people to know we're going to just keep going, and hopefully we won't miss anything when that happens. So you're there now?
Okay. So where do you... I'm here. Are you going? Are you here?
I am. Yes. Yeah, we were just talking about Botany in a Day and how to identify plants. And I let people know that when you freeze up, we're just going to keep going. So
okay.
All right.
So okay. So Hypericum. What are the things, the identifying characteristics? There are really easy ways to understand. So Thomas Elpel tells us that they're yellow flowers with clear dots in the leaves. These clear dots in the leaves are actually little tiny holes. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I can't even figure out. Oh, yeah. Put it by the camera.
There it is.
Little tiny holes. Can you see them there, Krista?
Kind of. Yeah, I see them. Okay.
So that's one of the things that you want to look for when you're harvesting St. Johnswort. Also that the plant comes off the stem
Uh-huh.
opposite the leaves, and they are alternate. They go either way, this way, then that way on
Oh,
the stem.
okay.
Yellow flowers. To me, the most clear identifying characteristic is when you squeeze the blossom buds, your fingers will turn a dark purple.
Oh, that's fun.
It is. It's totally fun. It's a great way to teach kids. Anybody
Uh-huh.
who's a kid at heart
Uh-huh.
loves it. When you squeeze it, it turns purple on your fingers.
Uh,
If the yellow flower does not do that, you don't have the right plant.
oh, okay.
Now, so there's a story about how we came to call this plant St. Johnswort. When my son was in 5th grade, he went to school, he came home and he said, "Hey Mom, I have a question. Today we were told to go out and weed the central garden in the front part of the school. And they told us to take out the weeds and leave the St. John's wort."
Ah.
And so, but then they immediately began pulling out the St. John's wort. So I'm confused, Mom.
Uh-huh.
So I said, oh, well, because where we live here in the Northwest, there's 16 different types of hypericum that are sold in nurseries for garden plants.
Uh-huh.
And one of them is a ground cover with big, bright yellow flowers. And that's the one they wanted to have stay in the garden.
Right.
And it so happened that the wild one with the opposite leaves and 5 petals and makes your fingers turn purple was the weed.
Oh, okay.
And so once we clarified that, we agreed that we would call our weedy friend or ally St. John's wort
Uh-huh.
to dispel any confusion that she was the one who was excellent for treating burns. And I mean, who would you go to if
Right.
you needed to talk to somebody about burn remedies?
Right.
So we like St. John's wort. That's our story.
That's great. That's great.
It's a lot of fun and it helps us remember things. But St. John's wort, I really think, is a great herb for everyone to have on hand. It grows again around the temperate part of the planet,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really abundant in the Northwest. And this plant actually loves to grow around difficult situations.
Hmm.
Like one of her favorite places is if you were going north from Seattle to Everett, there's a 4-lane freeway going each direction, 4 lanes,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a median in the center of that filled with hypericum.
Really?
Yes, gorgeous yellow when in bloom. Super dangerous for harvesting. I don't recommend harvesting.
No.
But this is a plant that puts herself in that kind of situation. And so my thinking is this is a plant that actually brings to us some resonance to be able to deal with high test challenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. Loves under high power lines, the big
Yeah.
ones, transferring electricity in big quantities
Right.
across the countryside. She loves it under those
Huh.
years. So I want to look at the plants and find where they like to grow. Not so much looking for the clean and pristine place.
Mm-hmm.
Actually show up very often there. She likes the roadside. She likes the verge. And this is a plant that's really excellent for any time one feels they're on the verge.
Okay.
You know that place where you feel like you're going to shatter?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great ally. It's an amazing plant for uplifting the spirit and dispelling melancholy. Now, is not beautiful language?
Yes.
Not just really tell you what this plant has been known for in history, uplift the spirit and dispel melancholy and what we would call now depression.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yes.
So I think I like that language better because it really is more specific.
Right.
Depression is really a non-entity.
Right.
People think that disease exists, but really, if there wasn't a person, would there be a depression?
Good question.
For treating diseases, we stop looking at people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think we're really in a situation right now where that's important to consider.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It is.
it's important to consider. We would like to treat people well.
Right. Yeah.
And St. Joan can do that. She's
Mm.
also antiviral. This is
Mm-hmm.
that really helps to fend off viruses that might want to take up housing in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And helps to dispel inflammation in the body. It's a cooling herb that is also especially good for supporting the nervous system.
Mm.
This is an herb that helps to reconstruct the myelin sheath on the nerves, so that actually you tonify the nerves by using this plant.
Hmm.
It's an amazing plant.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah.
I know, right? A weed out there on the roadside.
Yeah, on the highway. Yeah.
Yeah, and free for the picking,
Uh-huh.
and likes for human use. The best way is to put it in oil. Again, remember we did our oil extraction by putting the herb in a jar,
Mm-hmm.
and then just covering it with olive oil,
Mm-hmm.
whatever olive oil you have around. You could also do this with other kinds of fats, like it would have been bear grease, animal fat. My olive trees aren't doing real good here in the Northwest, so I'm really exploring other ways to extract the herbal goodness
Right.
in fat of different, more accessible to where I live.
So how much herb did you put in that jar with the olive oil? How much? And do you use the whole plant, the leaves?
Yeah, fill the jar with the herb. And
Okay.
this is just the flowers.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Just the flowers. Okay.
Just the flowers, and mostly in bud, not
Okay.
so much in full bloom.
Oh,
If you
okay.
pick those full bloom flowers, you don't get that purple effect. It's the
Mm-hmm.
bud that you're looking for. So when the plant is like 50% bud, 50% bloom,
Mm-hmm.
it's time to harvest.
Okay.
All right. Fill the plant or the jar with oil. And then the important thing with oils is that you put this breathable covering over so that the plant can exhale the water.
Okay.
Because we're using fresh plant material, and you need to use St. Johnswort fresh.
Right. Okay.
Not if it's
Not
dry.
dried. Yeah. Okay.
So when we're done, maybe you can
Pretty. Yeah. Beautiful.
isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
So the other way that St. Johnswort can be brought into household use is through tincture or
Okay.
extract in alcohol. And so we use 100 proof alcohol with this plant because it's resinous, and you need extra alcohol to be able to get out to extract the resin parts of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
So here again, we have this amazingly gorgeous red color.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
You know, if you're interested in chakras and things like that,
Uh-huh.
we've got that real big place. This is a plant that anchors us to the earth, but actually tunes up the nervous system so that our messages can be firing in the nervous system and sending the information or the data, if you will, from wherever there's injury to the place that can help to ameliorate the feeling of injury.
Mm-hmm.
And so this plant is really excellent for any time. Well, one of my apprentices once was running into the house, and she literally did run into the house and did that thing where you catch your toe on the door jamb.
Yes.
Jammed her toe on the jamb. Instantly started holding the foot, jumping up and down on the other foot, and screaming things that no one should listen to or hear. And there were children around who happened to know about red oil, and they ran into the cupboard where the red oil was, brought it back. You know, there was an adult person there who said, "Are you okay?" The most stupid thing you can say to somebody who's obviously not okay.
Not okay, right.
And the kids didn't say that. They just ran into the bathroom, got the red oil, brought it out, and said, "Here, try this."
Uh-huh.
Woman put it on her toe, and instantly, and I do mean instantly, she took a deep breath, and she went, "Wow, that is amazing. It totally stopped hurting."
How wonderful.
So I've seen this happen time and time again. This is a plant you really want to have on board.
Right. Yeah, sounds like.
And the other thing is that it's great for, and this in the tincture form, you can do it also topically, but for hikers or people who do exercise, go to the gym, put drops of the tincture in your water bottle
Mm.
while you're hiking or working out, the St. Johnswort has some capacity to not allow lactic acid buildup in the muscles.
Hmm.
So when we've been exerting our bodies,
Mhm.
sit down, to catch the breath or whatever.
Right.
You know how when you get up and you're stiff?
Right. Right.
St. Johnswort in your water bottle will totally eliminate that.
Wow.
I know
That's yeah.
for people who are going to be doing physical activity,
Right.
even if you're going out to garden.
Mhm.
You're going to exert your body in a different way,
Mhm.
and you know this is going to happen.
Right.
Put the St. Johnswort in your water or your herb infusion and just drink it throughout the time that you're active. And
Mhm.
you will notice that there is not that stiffness that occurs often.
So how much would you add, like to how much water? Is there a certain amount?
Most people have a quart water bottle.
Uh-huh.
I would put 1 or 2 droppers full, a
Okay.
teaspoon in a quart,
Okay.
drunk over the period. And Bridal Veil Falls out by where you live.
Yeah.
I hiked up that before they put the new trail in, and we were coming up with roots, and it was an appreciating hike for my woman of my years. And I had done this before we went, and I was so ecstatic when I got done. I was waiting for that awful feeling
Yeah.
to come, and it did not come.
Wow. That's very cool.
So this is a plant that I think that we actually have it in our garden. We brought it home and shook it out by the driveway, on the edge of the driveway, because she likes it rough.
Right.
And so she's really happy. Every year she multiplies. We have more right there by the driveway. We don't have to go anywhere anymore. It's so nice.
Right.
Especially this year, when we're staying home a lot more than we normally would.
Right.
So many of the herbs that I've brought to Ravencroft over the years are really, really shining right now. When I look out my door and I see medicine and food everywhere, I realize that this plant, even though sometimes it did not look very sane, has in this time become very sane.
Right. Right.
Very, very useful through all time. This is a great way to live, even if you're just knowing the wild ones. But, I knew I was going to get older. I knew I was going to move slower. And I figured if they were closer, it'd be easier.
That's a good thing. Absolutely.
Now when I go out into nature, mostly I'm just enjoying nature. I don't have to go get something.
Right. Right.
I can be with nature, which in itself is an amazing healing.
Absolutely. Yep.
Tonification for us.
It is. Yeah.
So there's one other thing I'd like to say about antidepressant, mental health, and that is the idea of prospect.
Okay.
I have actually one certificate in my life in healing and their gardens, and there are.
Oh, you're going in and out on us. You're going to have to
which
say.
Is the ability to see something a little further.
You need to say that again. We lost you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so prospect is the ability to see a distant view.
Okay.
And so we plant bulbs every year at Ravencroft.
Pretty.
Because I know this is the cheapest antidepressant I've ever found, and I've needed to know them. And so the bulbs are prospect. I know in the spring I will have flowers.
Right.
That helps me get through the dark of winter. The other one is refuge. We need a place in our lives where we know we can go and feel safe.
True.
This is refuge. Yes. And these two elements are really critical right now in this time of learning to adapt.
Right. Yes. A lot of people are having to adapt.
That's
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So refuge and prospect. Think about things you're going to do down the road. Think about how you're taking care of yourself right now. And the green allies are always with us.
Right.
They're always willing.
Yeah. We just have to be open.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have any questions about St. Johnswort, St. Johnswort?
I don't. It sounds like a wonderful herb and something I'm going to start getting into my life.
Yeah. There's so many ways to bring this plant into life and enjoy life that much more.
And I want to remind people they can go to your website, which is EagleSong. Now, do you prefer hyphen or dash?
I love dash.
Dash, okay. EagleSong-Gardener.com, and I have it there on the screen. And they can get in touch with you through that, learn more about your different classes and offerings and all things herb. So thank you so much for another great class, and looking forward to next week, which will be week 8, and I'll talk to you then.
Yeah, bye then.
All right, bye.